Hello, this is Ted Knaak. I'm president of TopoDOT, and I'm here today with Brent Bass, and he's the Geospatial Services Division Manager at DRMP Inc. DRMP is a very progressive geospatial consultant focused on mobile LiDAR and a lot of other basically geospatial technology, and they're located right here in Central Florida. Now, Brent has kindly agreed to share DRMP's data governance challenges and specifically DRMP's experience with TopoShare. So thanks for being here, Brent.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your role. What are you doing? What do you do at DRMP?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm the Geospatial Services Division Manager. So kind of under my area, we have the our GIS team, our mobile LiDAR team, our drone LiDAR program, and then our hydrographic mapping program. So we like to joke around and say anything with a trajectory that moves and collects data, that's what our group handles. So I'm basically the manager of that group, and I have special teams that work under each one of those categories, basically.
Yeah, I heard that before when we were talking, and I really like that. Anything that has to do with the trajectory, because the trajectory changes everything. It's a point cloud. It means there's new uncertainties that are really kind of beyond the typical survey uncertainty and measurements, right?
Right.
You have to know how to deal with it. There's just different aspects, and there's a lot of data. So again, with the advent of geospatial systems, mobile LiDAR, data, and systems like that, and you guys really specialize in mobile LiDAR. How many systems do you have now?
We have two full mobile LiDAR systems.
Two full mobile LiDAR systems, and they're how many miles a year? What do you think? Just rough numbers.
Oh gosh.
Just throw it out there. No real number.
I don't know. I'd say like 25,000 miles a year.
25,000 miles. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of data.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So with the so all this, there's really data governance is a challenge, and if people don't know what data governance is, that's just really how do you control your data? How do you organize it? How do you organize that data? How do you assess its quality? Make sure that you know what it is and what it can be used for. How do you basically store it, and then how do you access it? I mean, that's pretty a summary of what you have to do, right? Yeah, and I think some of that's missed too in some of the modern solutions. Really, like the organization part is critical. If it's disorganized, it can take you hours to find things. So that's really critical. So let's talk a little bit about TopoShare. Kind of let's talk. Let's look at you've kind of been using TopoShare, and you have TopoShare Enterprise, and I'll share that. DRMP was a very early adopter, and we appreciate that because everybody says they want to be first, but they don't necessarily want to. So you guys really took it on, and today we're looking at now your browser environment, which is what you use to share your data internally and externally. Collaborate with your clients and also internally sharing with your team as they do a lot of digital twin production, extract topographies alike. What am I looking at now? So what am I seeing here? This is TopoShare, and we've got it on a browser. What's going on?
Yeah, so I mean, for us, for TopoShare, it has a lot of benefits. And I would say the first one I kind of just wanted to talk about is how we use it internally. So just internally, what we're doing is every time we have a project, it has a project number. So we come into the Topo Cloud, TopoShare admin tools, and we'll create the project there, and we'll start uploading information, right? So the process is pretty simple. We're just gonna add a new project, give it a name. This is one of my favorite parts, is you can kind of categorize it. If it's mobile, LiDAR, static, drone, that kind of thing. And so we'll categorize it. We'll give it a coordinate system, and then we just start uploading information. And so this becomes our backup. So this is our cloud-based backup. And what's so handy about the website version of the TopoShare that we'll look at in a second is once you upload this information, all of that's done on the back end for you. So I don't have to do anything. It's automatically plots it, has all the information there, and all I have to do is create a link. So we'll do all this stuff. We'll upload line work, whatever we want to upload basically for this project. And then it'll basically give us a project here. And then we just do, create share link. And that share link is like how the, you guys know how it works, but that's how the browser part works. And with those share links, the handy part is that we can make one for internal use, and we can share that with our team, and then they can go look at it. Maybe have a little bit more options to download data or view it in MicroStation. But then we can also do share links to clients that we don't really want to give full access to, and then those can expire. So we can set expiration dates on those actual links. And this is how we do it. I mean, and then over here you have your users. So we've got, I've got staff that works with the LiDAR all across the country. We've got people in North Carolina, we've got people in Tallahassee, and we're in Orlando. So we have to work share. We have to share this information, and we found it to be the most economical, the most easiest access. People, when I assign them this project, like for instance, right here, Mark Brown. If I give Mark Brown access to this project number, when he logs in, he's only going to see that project, and he's going to be able to get his data. And you can see here how much he's downloaded from that data so far. So it lets us track who's using the data. It lets us track who has the data. And they can actually do that from their own house at any time, anywhere, coffee shop, wherever, anywhere they get internet, they can download their data. And then when you click those links from the project, you actually, it takes you right to a project page, which looks something kind of similar to this. So it just takes you to like a project page. But if you were to back out to your home page, you're going to see this.
Well, let's stay there for a second, because that's kind of interesting. I see some big numbers there. How many projects you have? You have Florida, Southeast. Obviously, you guys are in Central Florida, so it's a lot of work here, a lot of work being done in Florida. 300 plus. That's 300 plus project in that bubble, and there's a few others. How does that work?
Yeah. So for us, it's funny. We've been working with the TopoDOT team for a long time about this, TopoShare site, and we needed bigger bubbles because our projects were capped out at 100, let's say. So basically what it does is it groups up your projects and maps them on a map. And these are so awesome because you can share these. So if I share these links to the North Carolina team, their homepage is only going to be links that they've clicked for their account. So they're going to see a North Carolina map. So when they log in, theirs looks more like this, and it shows all the projects that they've been working on in North Carolina. But for us, for our geospatial team, I want to see everywhere that we have data, and so this is very handy for us. We just click our own links, and we're just building our own web page. And what it does, it just kind of groups those into like categories, so that doesn't you don't get overwhelmed when you first log in with how many are on the map.
And as you zoom in, it kind of gets more, the resolution gets higher, and you can kind of see individual projects. And I guess I remember when you guys asked us, could we see the tiles on top of that map just so we see what's covered without having to jump in? And so we did that some time ago. So for those who kind of looking at this, if you zoom in enough, these are kind of tiles that are just along the road. You actually know what's that's covered there within those icons. And those icons, there's a project access point, right? A link, and then but you can see on the top view what's covered, and that's really useful. I think it's probably worth noting too that we kind of designed TopoShare and the whole concept that we don't want to compete with viewers and things. So this is really all file based, right? And that's what keeps it. And it's probably worth noting that's what keeps it relatively inexpensive, because people don't quite understand. And I say TopoShare is free with TopoDOT. I mean, it's a tool, right? We don't charge you for TopoShare. We just let you use it. And your costs are what? Just storage, basically straight up data storage. That's inside of Amazon. Are you guys in Amazon or Azure?
We use Amazon.
Amazon. Okay. So you use your SC, people ask how much it'll cost. It's like, it's whatever your data, how much data you have up there and what your costs are to store it.
And there's different
transfer costs.
There's different categories too. Like if it's just cold storage, it's cheaper. And if you got to pull something from years ago, it costs a little more to get that back and stuff like that. So it's pennies on the gig. It's not noticeable.
Yeah, exactly. Pennies on the gig. We discovered a long time ago. Once you try to zoom in, and we kind of left the whole concept of, all right, we're gonna zoom in and let you rotate a point cloud around. Well, a lot of people rotate point clouds, but we found out pennies turn to dollars real fast, because we were questioning as we were getting into this, why this costs were so high to just rotate. There's some basically to get in and stream. Once you hear streaming, you got to hear dollar signs, right?
Right.
And and so your guys in North Carolina might not have the bandwidth to use it effectively anyway. And when these projects get big, so no matter what the solution is, when you start streaming and doing things, it gets pretty clunky, from what I've heard,
Right.
But we just said, this is basic, but the other side is we don't, in this kind of concept, we don't prevent you from going where you have to go. If somebody wants streaming and all, you can take data from here, publish it wherever you'd like, and they can rotate it around and look at it, doesn't matter. So really, it was just a data governance. So let's talk a little bit more about the data governance side. So you've got this data in here. Maybe when you dive into a project, you can kind of like share with us what that looks like when somebody gets in.
So some nifty features of this homepage, things we've worked on over time, again, with your team, is just being able to search, because again, like our projects are getting, overwhelming list of projects total, and we can search by number or search by keyword, and it really helps us search them out. You can either click the map, you can click the links here, or you can search for it and click some other links. I do want to talk about one thing that's something you guys added not too long ago, which was very handy, is doing some subscribe share groups. So that way you don't have to send the link to specific people. You can just kind of upload it to that share group, and then their map will kind of update automatically. So if they're part of the North Carolina project share group, that each person doesn't have to necessarily click all those links to see those projects. It's going to update that for everybody. So that's another nifty thing here. Yeah, so if you guys want, let's look at a specific project. I just want to start with one that's kind of basic. This project right here, this was a drone project for drone LiDAR. They're going to build a new roadway through here. So this one shows a very basic page, and when you first click on a link, this is what you're going to kind of see. You're going to see these tiles, and like Ted said, that's going to show you how you organize your own data. So, if you broke it up into pieces and shared that information, or that's how you organize your information, that's how it's going to show up here. And then you can add as much metadata as you want to these pages, but this one's a very basic one, so it's a good one to kind of talk about some of the features. So you can do these overview images. So if I click that, it's going to take a second, and it's going to load the overview images. And these are great. These are basically just raster pictures of the LiDAR that you collected. And the reason I like it so much is that the clients, a lot, when you're working with them, they'll ask you, did you go down this side street? Did you guys drive your mobile LiDAR down this road? Do we have more information over here? And if you share these links to them, a lot of those questions just kind of disappear because they can see how much information we actually have. This page here, what's really neat and I like to show is that it has the options for your background map. The dark's kind of the default because it really helps the LiDAR pop, and all your line work pop. But you can also change it to, regular Google Map background or like a satellite image, turn the labels on and off. And these are great for screenshots as well, for project pages. Again, there's so many uses for these. So you can see here, what we scanned and where this project ended up being.
If I can interject there, I think it might be useful to explain a little bit about that raster. The fact that, and you pointed it out, but I like kind of reiterate that in that, you created that raster inside of TopoDOT previously, right? It's part of your process to, before you upload the data. So why is that done? Well, this raster is very light. It just comes in your browser. This is not 300 million points. It's a picture.
Right.
So if it's 300 million points, this would take, first of all, it would take forever to load. Second of all, it would cost pennies would go to dollars. And that's what kind of, and that's the idea of maintaining everything as a file-based solution to convey information to your clients and internally also, to your team and whatever, without having to spend that kind of money to because that's important, right? You want to scale this, so this makes it very scalable. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. You have some line work in here or anything that we can look at? Okay.
Yeah, so we'll look at another one. Again, I really like this because the raster of the aerial LiDAR really is clean.
Really?
And you can see these trees, you can see the roads, you can almost see the car pass through the dirt here where the tractors have been. So really,
Can
really
someone-
cool.
Can someone download the data if they want it? If they want the actual point cloud from here?
If they wanted the point cloud from here, yeah, they could go back to their homepage, and if we've given them access, they can actually click this, data download button right here. By default,
Okay, perfect.
ours are always locked. Again, that's just security measure. You don't want too much of your information out there floating around.
Sure.
And you did mention that these overview images, they're done in TopoDOT, and so our workflow is kind of like we process the data, we get it classified through TopoDOT, just maybe a basic classification. We're happy with it. We get the images done, and then we upload that immediately. Then we can do some more post processing. That way, people can get to work, right? So they can download the data, they can download the photos, they can start working. Then we start doing post processing. We're doing extra classification, cleaning it up perfectly. And then once all that's done, we'll create overview images. Then we upload those overview, and you can just constantly keep adding to that website, to that project, like I showed you on the Topo Cloud. You just keep adding to it, and you never have to do anything again. Like once you've made the link one time, it just keeps up. It only takes like 30 seconds. Once it's uploaded, I'd say 30 seconds sometimes. It's appearing on the website. It's instant almost. So
in addition, all the metadata plus the quote digital twins, whatever it happens, you've extracted can be up there too, right? So it's just any analysis you've done, any projects, it's just it's basically just files. So oh, this is a good one. So you brought something up that's pretty interesting. So here we have a road with some topography. Explain that a little bit. How did you get the line work in there?
Yeah, so this is a concrete rehabilitation project. Again, DRMP, we mainly do transportation work. So this was a DOT survey. And what we did was we extracted all the line work as normal, but we did a little bit more analysis and did some of the crack, extraction of the cracks. And then we actually, for the engineers, we labeled the slabs. So they're all extracted and they're all labeled. And the fact that we can take this project here and share this with engineering clients, this is probably my most popular share that engineers love to use, is the concrete one, because they can just evaluate the concrete from their browser or their iPad. And again, we can turn on the LiDAR data if we wanted, but for this line work, it's literally just an export button MicroStation or to get it to a JSON file. And then it's just metadata. So again, very small file, takes a couple of minutes to upload and you're done. And it's organized by level or, whatever you exported, however your levels work in MicroStation or your CAD environment. And basically you can turn off those levels. If you only want to look at the, concrete slabs, we could do that. The pavement concrete joints, we could just look at the concrete if you wanted to. So really cool. You can use the line work to your advantage. And this is a great example too, to show how the images work. So they have an image button here where you can click and then just click anywhere on the map to look at the images from your collection day. And so if these pictures work in TopoDOT, then they will also work on the website automatically. You can take it a step further and make what they call DPEGs. And if you do that, then you can actually measure on these images. For this project, we probably didn't make DPEGs just because, not all projects require it, or it's worth doing all the work. But one of my favorite things to do to show people is that, okay, you're evaluating slabs, let's say right now, you're able to look at it on this screen and know that's, okay, this is a horizontal crack or whatever, and label it and look at it. And while you're doing it, it's moving your mouse over here too. So you got the double mouse going on. So this is slab B208. It's got 2 cracks. It's going all the way to the shoulder. You can make your notes or whatever, and it's all right here. And this does, you can do this from anywhere. You don't have to have special software to do this.
Okay, so that's really interesting, and I guess it's really kind of, so what if I understand, so probably the attraction to TopoShare for you guys has been that it's a really data-rich environment, but then it's very scalable. Again, nobody needs any special software, and we don't have to, anybody can run it. If you have complete control If I can, you can provide someone access to the point cloud if they wanted to click on a tile and download it, or you say no, they can't do that. But then they can communicate with you, and you're saying you get a lot of client in this particular case, for example. Are you getting like your clients feeding back, and talking to you about what's happening in the project? That because there is a way of communicating with you here, and then that's probably something you might want to talk about.
Yeah. So yes, I get a lot of good feedback, especially with the comedy project. Any projects where we can share line work and share those overview images again, just to see how much information was collected on that day. That helps so much. But another feature that we like with this is that they have the work order requests. So and there's a couple triggers here, right? So you're not going to get image buttons unless you upload images. This is one thing I love about the site. It works with you. So if you upload line work, then you're going to see line work up here. If you don't, then it just doesn't show it it's not like it's missing or anything, right? So it builds up for you as you go. You can add assessment reports. Here's a deviation summary we uploaded. You don't have to do that, but if you do, then it shows up. Same thing with this work order request. So as long as you put in project information, like for instance, I run the mobile LiDAR group, but I'm not the project manager for every survey we do. So this one was done by Chris Wild. So I put in his information for the contact, because if you need any more information about this project and I share it to you, or he shares it to you, he's the one who's going to have to answer some questions, right, about the survey. So we'll put his information in here, and then you can actually go to work order requests at the top and send him an email right through here. And you can use these tools on their map page, markup tools. You can come in here, and let's say you want more information about these slabs right here. You can just mark it up here. You come over here, you fill in your subject, and everything's filled in for you. Which again, a lot of people like that. They don't have to type, they don't have to find all this information, but they're already using the site. They can just come in here and make some quick notes for you and hit send request. And what that's going to do is that's going to send Chris an email. Not only an email, but it's going to send him like a KMZ, a graphic of what they actually marked up. If they marked up anything, it's going to show him that too. So that, they'll get the little response, hey, Chris, I need more information about these slabs here. Can you give me a call? And he can be prepared. It's great communication. It cuts down a lot of back and forth. And I've had things where people just say, hey, where they've noticed we have more data, just come down the side street and mark it up and just say something like this, like, hey, can you guys extract this? Can you give me a price for that? And this is where that, you collected data and you're kind of getting that money back, where you're getting additional requests to do a supplemental agreement, let's say, to get more work out of it. Because they know you have the information, right? So they're going to call you back because you already have it.
Well, that's interesting. And I think it's probably worthwhile to kind of mention a few things about, because about TopoShare, in that, we want to kind of make it clear that TopoShare, this isn't a full GIS database, although it's getting pretty impressive, right? You can do a lot of things, and where you cross that line and blur, is interesting. But one of the things about TopoDOT is that remember, it all stems from built around the TopoDOT digital in production process, in that we expect you to export to wherever the customer needs their data. So there's a lot of this is a pavement projects, but a lot of pavement projects are going to go into paver, for example. So if that's where they got to go, TopoDOT will take them out there, and those those files can be part of this project. So, someone could say, okay, where's my paver project? And yet you can still go back into the data and ask for more things, so it's that very flexible, again, data governance is very flexible, sharing and sharing of the data, understanding where it is without carrying these heavy point clouds into places where, to be honest, I don't think they belong. And I'm just going to say it. It's like ProjectWise or S3 or whatever, where you can't do much with them anyway. This is where, you guys are the geospatial data is organized here. You can extract what you need, and you can share with whom you need to work with. You can share it with your clients, you can share it internally, and for a very low price, because once again, everything we're looking at here is, I don't know, it's fractions of a penny to download a picture. It's just, it just shouldn't be cost. But you tell me a little bit, your cost, you've have almost 1,000 projects up there in Florida or around the country, right?
Right.
Is that reasonable? So outside of data storage costs or whatever that cost, I mean, it's relatively inexpensive for storing that much data. Is that reasonable?
Yes, I would absolutely say that. I'd absolutely say that, because we have been looking, we've been looking at some alternatives just for like a second backup. I mean, and the cost is it's astronomical for this information. And the thing is, the technology gets better every year, right? And the cameras get better every year. So what does that mean? That means there's more data storage needed. Your point clouds are getting bigger. Your photo projects are getting bigger every year. And I just like it's a kind of a one-stop shop. We upload it, we can share it, it's done. And you're right, it's more of like an online database. It's not, we don't want people in here using point clouds that they shouldn't be, right? We don't want people surveying without a license. That's a big deal. I want them to see what they have at their fingertips to ask us for. And this has really helped out.
Well, you brought up a key point, and this has been my internal. I've been trying to get this across to so many people, because there has been a conceptual that's been promoted within the industry that their digital twin, the truth model, will be available to everyone. Oh my gosh, no! In geospatial, there is no truth. It's all has some uncertainty, and what that uncertainty is important. And how you extract, by the way, is not trivial. TopoDOT we spend a lot of time with hundreds of tools. You guys have been learning about TopoDOT for years, right? So you can't just let loose a point cloud on the world and say, hey guys, have at it. And then you guys are just 3D. You're just like surveyors are then just 3D. You're taking 3D pictures of the world and throwing it out there on a database. No, that's not what you do. And to be honest, a lot of this, you only extract data to take action, right? You only extract data in a project to take some kind of action. And those actions also have very significant consequences if you're in construction environment, a maintenance environment, or whatever. So somebody has to sign off on anything that's extracted here and say, yeah, this came back through us, like your work order. We'll sign off on this and say, there's hundreds of tools in TopoDOT that go, yeah, here's a volume. This is what you asked for. By the way, you said dig this deep, take it off this wide. This is what you said. Okay, fine, this is your requirements. We're telling you what the volume is, and we'll sign off on that based on your requirements, right? Or it could be anything else. Is this a level 1 survey? Can you get, and better than any, can I get elevations from this data? Well, you can, but did we have control? Right. We didn't. So somebody better say, no, these elevations will be 10, 15, 20 centimeters based on not having control. If you need it tighter, we can work with you. But this is the kind of collaboration that makes, I think, the digital twins useful. So I think, so anything else, any other thoughts you'd like to share? I think we've, talked about a lot, and I appreciate your time, and I know how busy you are. Anything you want to share, that with us before we come to a close?
Yeah, I would, I I definitely wanted to say one more thing, and that's, for me, for instance, because I have an older version of the TopoShare admin tool, but we've been working with you guys from the beginning on this, and there's a lot of new features coming. There's what I really love about it, it's not like you guys kind of just say, okay, here's the product, and you walked away from it. You've been working on it since the beginning, adding more features, trying to update it, make it better, make it more, and not really changing the price. You're just keeping it the same, just adding more features. You're just giving us more access, giving us more control. And I think if somebody who's never used it, once we get this version 2.0, you guys get that out there and released that you're working on, it's a game changer. how much control you have over this data. Because a lot of people, a lot of DOTs, a lot of municipalities, they get nervous about having their data like online, let's say. But I can tell you this, let's say we have an employee who quits. I all I have to do is go in there and remove their account, and they just don't have access to anything like in 2 seconds. So even a project, let's say you share this to a client and you realize, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, all you have to do is delete the link from your cloud-based database here. You just say, okay, I want to remove the link. They'll email you because their link's not going to work. I mean, immediately, right? So it's all right at your fingertips. Again, you have any questions I've gotten over time? It's just, hey, did you guys do something for example, this right now, I just looked to know, did you guys scan Valencia College? Or I heard you guys did that. And if I can't remember, I can just go look on this map in a minute. I can do it from my phone. I can do it from anywhere. People say, hey, I need a picture of a project from this, and it's just right there. It's at your fingertips because you're not having to go get a PC, load up data. You're not having to do all of that for everything. So, I don't want to sell all of our trade secrets, but, we use this for way more than anyone probably ever imagined that we would use it for. And I just see like you're getting better and better over time.
Well, we appreciate you. And I got to tell you, as I said, I started in the beginning of our discussion that everybody says they want to be first, but not really. And,
right.
And DRMP, we talked about it for a long time, but I said, hey, please just try it. We have this concept. And it's when you're changing the world a little bit like we are, and and you guys are too. We need you guys out there, and you guys were gracious enough to really trust us, to work with us and work with us all those years to make it what it is today. And you're right, the next version is going to be really powerful.
Yeah.
And again, we're looking at it as a tool. We don't look at it as a service, so to speak. We give you the tools you need to control what your data. And I think that's going to be our new tagline: take control of your data, because it's, again, just so I understand, you mentioned the fixed price. We just basically, all those projects are for one fixed price per year. And I think it comes down to, like, if you divide it up, it's maybe $10 a project you're storing the data or something like that. I don't know if you're at 1,000 yet or whatever, but somewhere in there, it's not much per project. So now it's scalable, and the collaboration, you really did a great job about describing how you collaborate internally and externally. I appreciate that. And the thing that's satisfying for us is that it's becoming everything we envisioned. And we have you guys to thank for that, because without you in the field, without you guys really applying it, that wouldn't have happened. So thank you very much, Brent. We appreciate your time today. It's always a pleasure. And we're going to see you again soon, because, we're working on a few more things together. So I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Brent. Thank you very much.